Welcome everyone, back again, kind of. So, last week we did go over sexual and asexual reproduction. We started the unit, but we didn't get very far into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and keep going with this, and you guys can go back and forth anytime you want. I still recommend that you take notes, but at least you can pause it so that you're not waiting on you to write, Gavin. So, how are sexual and asexual reproduction comparable? What types of reproduction produces uniform and diverse offspring? How is genetic information passed from parents to offspring? Not to mention, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the two types of reproduction? What causes mutations? And what are some examples? Now, we remember before we started talking about the cells. Cells are the basic building block of living things. This says smallest structural, functional, and biological unit of a living organism. Yeah, that's true, but building blocks of life. That's what we remember. In here, we're trying to zoom in a little more. We want to focus on where the good stuff is. We have right here, this is the nucleus. Right in there is where all of the DNA is, all the instructions, the blueprints that make that cell function. So, as we move on, we can see that our cell, inside of that nucleus, we have chromosomes. Chromosome is a thread-like molecule that carries hereditary information, made up of protein and one molecule of DNA. We have lots of DNA inside of our cells. It works out to be about 6 feet of DNA per cell. And so when you're made up of trillions of cells, times that by 6 feet, you have a long millions of miles of DNA inside of your cells, your whole body. Most have arranged pairs within the nucleus of the cell. For example, you have 23 pairs of chromosomes to give yourself a total of 46 chromosomes inside of your cells. One pair of chromosomes determines your gender. So the X and Y chromosomes. So everybody has one pair that determines whether they are male or female. 2 X's means they're female, and X and a Y means that they're male. So females have 2X, males have X and Y chromosome. The Y chromosome contains a gene which triggers embryonic development to become a male. This makes it so that we can determine whether somebody is female or male simply by determining whether their DNA has an X and a Y chromosome or 2 X's. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. If I was to annotate this and do a pen here, I'd put a D there, an N here, an A here. There's your DNA. Savvy? So, this contains instructions an organism needs to develop, live, and reproduce. Remember, all of this is made into a chromosome. This is found inside every cell and is passed down from parents to children. From here on out, we are going to refer children as offspring. Now, inside of each piece of DNA, we have what are called genes. So gene is nothing more than a small section of DNA. Like if I was to cut off this section right here, this would code for a specific protein inside a cell, which then you have a whole bunch of proteins that get put together, and then that will actually make each cell into a specific part of the organism. So, basic physical and functional unit of heredity is a gene made up of DNA. Each person has 2 copies of each gene, one inherited from each parent. So, self-check. If you don't understand these 3 questions, then you need to go back and review what I have just put on here. So, the smallest biological unit of a living organism is a what? Pairs of thread-like molecules which live in the cell's nucleus, carries hereditary information, are called what? Made of DNA. That is the basic physical and functional unit of heredity. That is a what? So, like I said, if you didn't get any of those 3, go back, review it, make sure that you understand what has already been there. Don't keep moving on because you'll just get lost even more. Now, sexual and asexual reproduction. Let's focus on asexual for a minute here. With asexual reproduction, this is the type of reproduction by which offspring arise from a single organism. This is produced by mitosis. We will talk about mitosis in a second. Offspring inherit genes of only one